Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the ESL Pro League CSGO Relegations Day number 1. We have already had some results elsewhere, but we are going to have some fantastic action here on the stream for you. Welcome, everyone, to the CSGO Game Flip pre-show, where we'll be discussing a little bit about what's happened thus far, what's going to happen today, what's going to happen tomorrow, which teams can or can't be relegated, which teams can get promoted into the Pro League. There's a lot of excitement, and I'm sure you guys are going to be looking forward to it, because I'm certainly looking forward to it. My name is Dan Gaskin, and I also have two fantastic gentlemen on the desk with me. I have Evan and I have Bok. Guys, I'm going to update you with some scores, because I feel like that's the best way to start the stream, because relegation has not just begun, it's been going on all day. We've had two series already, sorry. There is a little hyphen there at the end. We have had Envy versus Spirit already, which ended in a 2-1 victory to Team Envy. And we had Complexity. They took down some of the team that I can't remember, 2-0. Talk, that's the one.
It was a close game, too. That first map went to overtime. It was like 22-19 something? 22-20 something?
22-20.
Yeah, it was triple OT.
It was...
No, double OT.
It was very nerve-wracking, and I remember seeing the Talk players after that game as well, and they looked a little bit shaken up after getting that far, and then to lose is a shame. But it is a double elimination bracket. But we will talk about the format very shortly. I guess before we do jump into that, we're going to actually look at the standings from the Pro League to see how we got here today, both from the European side and the North American side. And we will start with the European standings as well, because, you know, Europe, Pro League, I guess, in my opinion, I'd say it's the better league, but you guys, you might argue that the North American League is also up there with Europe as well, and Bok, you're giving me the death stare, and that's perfectly fine. But of course, we're talking about the bottom of the Pro League. We have all these teams at the top, but it's those guys at the bottom that have to fight for their lives in relegation.
I mean, the truth is the most hurtful insults are the ones that are true. So the reality is, yes, the EU Pro League is better than the NA Pro League.
But so we'll be looking at Team Envy and AGO Esports. They're going to be fighting for their lives in relegation. Evan, what are your thoughts on these two teams?
I mean, Envy, they've won a major, and now we're seeing them get relegated. It seems to be the changing of the CS tide almost, with essentially a lot of the big major even winning teams, a lot of major qualifying teams like Flipside, Virtus Pro, finding themselves in a very big predicament now, in almost a relegation spot. I mean, Envy, obviously, like you said, they picked up the win against Spirit. They're going to keep their life alive for a little bit longer, get themselves into another BO3 to keep their pro spot, but still, to be in this position for Envy, I'm sure they're not happy. AGO being the Polish team moving in last season, they ended up winning the Global Challenge over Space Soldiers, but, I mean, showing up in their first season of Pro League, not doing too well. I
mean, you can look, just looking at the standings, though, Fnatic wasn't even that far off from potentially being, you know,
G2
relegated
right
down.
above them as well.
But like when you start looking at the points, that's when things change, because the round differential for Fnatic is -12 compared to -63 for Envy. That's the big difference there.
And I guess because it is the Game Flip pre-show, I shall flip this one over now to the North American side as well. Team Liquid were at the top, and you can see how incredibly they have done, but it's about the bottom. It's Complexity Gaming and it's Splice who are going to be fighting for their lives in relegation. Of course, Dignitas already falling at a 2-20 wins. Look, it doesn't look too good for them.
It's always about the bottom with you.
Well, you know, I can't help it sometimes, Bok. I'm just that kind of man. But Complexity and Splice, I mean, are these two teams we were expecting to be in relegation?
Pretty much.
Splice with the season that they've been having, or just even throughout most of their, since they initially qualified for the major, Splice kind of hit their peak, and they've been kind of just coasting, and now we're seeing kind of a downhill kind of run from them. Most recently, their org saying that they're going to be dropping out of CSGO. I'm sure that's not helping the situation either. Complexity, for the last few seasons, they've been struggling. The only silver lining is that they just added Shazam as well as Stanislaw. Unfortunately, neither of them are playing in this tournament with them. Complexity has a lot of work to do with Slemmy and Professor Chaos if they want to retain that MDL, the pro spot.
There is a lot on the line, of course. Relegation out of Pro League is almost as big as getting promoted into Pro League, to be honest. It's not what you want to do. We have seen the demise of several teams when they've dropped out, and they struggle to get back sometimes as well. The first game we'll be focusing on this stream today is going to be Windigo versus AGO Gaming. Now, Windigo did already compete earlier today in the Mountain Dew League finals. They didn't win their promotion chance. However, they now get another shot in this double elimination bracket. Do you think they've got what it takes to go up against these teams that are potentially being relegated from the Pro League?
I mean, ultimately, they almost beat Big. I mean, it was a hard-fought series. potentially could have taken it. We covered that game, and it was a Dust 2 third map decider. It got a little bit sloppy at that point, but I had them pegged as a team that could potentially beat a team like Big. Obviously, that did not happen. Based on the season that AGO had and the cooling off we've seen from AGO in general, I think that Windigo can take this series. You know, AGO came into the Pro League last season as this like, whoa, this is the new #1 Polish team. No one has said anything about AGO since.
Yeah, unfortunately for me, I feel like it's kind of like the same situation as Dignitas and maybe even Splice, where when you're getting relegated out, it changes the whole dynamic of your team. You're finding yourself losing a lot more rounds. The stress is on you more. In AGO's position, I'm sure for them, being the head of Polish CS at one point, and now not even being talked about really, it's got to be disappointing to them, right?
Of course, and right. Everyone needs to. You need to work out how you get past those disappointments, though.
Exactly.
The winner of this game would play Envy as well, I believe, and that's how the double elimination bracket will work out. We'll get more into the bracket tomorrow when the games get a little bit further in. But ultimately, if either of these teams lose, they're not out. They get another chance. You have to win 2 games in the relegation bracket to be able to qualify for Pro League, but you also have to lose twice to fail to qualify for Pro League. Fairly simple if you think about it in that retrospect. I am being told that the first map is going to be Overpass, and it was picked by Windigo. How do you guys feel about Overpass in general? Is this something that you were expecting from Windigo?
I would have expected them to try for Train, but my assumption is that Envy would have vetoed it out. I'm guessing that Envy probably watched the series earlier today and saw how strong they played Train and probably said immediate veto, they veto Train. So if I had to guess right off the bat, that would have been the veto from Envy. I'm not terribly, or excuse me, from AGO, excuse me. We were talking about Envy before, and now I got
no worries,
Envy on the brain. From AGO, I would have assumed they probably just vetoed Train right off the bat.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a little bit odd that
especially
it comes up on
because
Overpass.
You got to imagine AGO is watching Windigo play, essentially, right? Just in case they did have to play them. And in that case, right, they saw how they performed on Train against Big. First ban, right away.
And we can see the betway odds there as well. 2.25 in favor of Windigo and 1.57 if you are in favor of AGO. Would you agree with those betway odds? Do you think that's pretty favorable for AGO Gaming? They, of course, should be the favorites considering they are the Pro League team.
When it comes down to it, it's a matter of passion. Like a team that played through an entire season of Pro League, didn't find success. They've been beaten down. They're bruised. They're scarred. And then you have this team who's fighting for a chance to get into Pro League. They have all the drive. Going back to the roots of the MK roster in seasons like 19 and 20. So we're going back almost 10 seasons ago. So yeah, I think right now, Windigo is the favorite for me.
Does fatigue come into it? Because obviously we know that Windigo have already competed at LAN today in a match, in a series that was hard fought. It went on quite a while. They did lose as well. They've been up probably since 9 AM this morning. Whereas on the other side, you've got to imagine AGO, they're probably well rested. Yeah. They've just been waiting for this moment. So
yeah, I mean, when you're it really hurts teams, and it does become I guess an endurance kind of test. When you show up, you play your first match, and now you're waiting for a certain amount of time till your second match starts. You got to keep your mental game going. I feel like that's going to play heavily into Windigo right now. If they start getting down on themselves very early, maybe they let that tiredness, maybe they let a little bit of that mental game get to them. That could be a very quick match for them.
Just get a citrus blast or 2 down you.
Exactly.
Yeah, just a couple, maybe 5 or 6. Just really get amped up, get fired up. It definitely is a factor. Your decision making starts to deteriorate the longer you're awake. So.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen teams perform even when they're tired, to be fair. If you're a good team, sometimes the adrenaline from a match can just get you through any sort of fatigue and any tiredness, and I would imagine that Windigo will want this pretty badly, and they know the advantages of winning this game here today. If they win this one, all they have to do is beat Envy tomorrow, and they're in Pro League. That sounds a lot nicer than playing another 2 series when it comes to tomorrow. Obviously, we will get more information as the series goes on with the other maps. The only map I've been fed to me at the moment is the Overpass one. What would you say are the main points for Overpass? Where are we going to see most of the action? What's the do and don'ts on Overpass?
Nade utilization and connector control. Those are going to be like the 2 pivotal aspects. It's all going to be about, how versatile are you on your T side with your nades? Because there's so much it's an open canvas. Like you have this ability to just like paint the map with your smokes because there's no skybox in most of the map. So you can really throw smokes from anywhere. The fact that like you can smoke monster from CT spawn by throwing this long smoke. So there's lots of flexibility with your nade use. And ultimately, connector control gives you that verticality. You have the ability to rotate between both bomb sites then.
Yeah, I was just going to expand on that. I mean, that connector control being the crucial point of any T's attack. I mean, you got to take up that A. Having that connector control allows you to call the audible plays like you were talking about, rotate in. Maybe you want to go to B. Well, unfortunately, if you don't have connector control and the CTs are holding that area, it's going to be really hard pressed for you to get through. I think that's going to be, like Box said, one of the most crucial things. And also long A. I like seeing a little bit more long A control. It expands the map completely and makes the CTs spread even more.
Sorry,
No, you're
you
good.
You sure?
Oh, you guys are so polite to each other.
We're too polite, and you're just stuck in the middle. You have to look both ways as well.
What's
You
going
just
on?
don't know what to do. What I was going to say is, whilst we've got a little bit of time to have a little chat as well, on the other side of the B stream, we have Splice versus Swole Patrol. That is also going to be taking place. The winner of that would face Complexity. Do you, in the same iterations that I've been talking about, do you think that Swole Patrol have that chance to also qualify through Pro League after what we saw earlier from them during the Mountain Dew League finals?
Biggest concern is that their op presence was inconsistent. That's not going to be a problem for Splice. Ricky is probably going to be maining the op. I don't think they're going to throw that back to Semphis. I think he'll stay on the rifle. And I don't think that Cooper can really counter that easily. It's not that he can't, it's that we saw some of like the hit or miss moments.
Yeah.
It was really Overpass. We were like, wow, he's really hitting his stride now. But it was the third map. It took a long time for it to get to that point.
I mean, same thing. I mean, looking at a map like Overpass, unfortunately, if you're Splice in the Swole Patrol position, Splice, yeah, they might be in the relegation position, but they've been a pro team for so long. So the standard that they play at versus Swole Patrol standard, that might be a night of scrimming against semi-pro teams that are way less equipped than pro teams. I mean, Splice has been doing this now for over a year. They've been in the pro division. They've been doing really well as well. I mean, yeah, I don't see any reason why Splice shouldn't be the favorite here, but Swole Patrol, I mean, after E United, they still have a very good chance.
They played really well in that series too. Like there was definitely some low moments.
I honestly feel like that match was more so on them to lose. Like they were in control for most of that match. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, if you can just get your head out of that loss, move on to the next match, and play the same way, it might come out as a win, and they got to get to that.
Like talking to them afterwards, it wasn't, I can't believe they beat us. It's, I can't believe we lost that.
Yeah,
because they realized ultimately the mistakes are what cost you the game. CS is not a matter of who's the better team sometimes. It's a matter of who makes less mistakes. And they made too many mistakes, and a team like E United is going to capitalize on that. Yep. A team like Splice, who's kind of struggling right now, trying to find stability, may not necessarily capitalize on those the same way, but they also have a veteran core of players who have plenty of experience in Pro League. Even if it's with different teams, it doesn't matter. They can just piece together nicely. I
mean, this is probably going to be the weirdest analogy you've ever heard of Counter-Strike, but it reminds me a lot of tennis. With tennis, you can just play the ball down the middle and you can allow your opponent to just make that one mistake, and then you take advantage of it. And that's what I've been seeing a lot, not just today, but Counter-Strike in general.
So there was a woman who competed in the Olympics this year.
Oh, you're talking about the skier?
The half pipe. The reason that she was able to compete, despite the fact that she has no experience whatsoever, was because all she did at every event to qualify was ski right down the middle. Because there was so few competitors that there was a guarantee someone would fall. And when they fell, it would put her in a position that allows her to qualify. So she legitimately made the Olympics
off the other mistakes
by playing off the mistakes of her opponent. She just went up and down, and then amazing. Finished. And that she was in the Olympics. She's a writer, apparently.
I mean, it is the difference with maybe the top teams. The top teams don't really do that. They just play to win. They don't even think about their opposition making the mistakes. They make those game-changing decisions that to maybe put themselves in a situation where they might make a mistake, but usually they don't because they're so goddamn good.
I think it kind of ooh, that was a loud chant right there. They're pumped to play here. But no, I'm just going to talk about the fact that, I mean, it kind of applies to all sports even, where it's not so much, you know, everybody's skilled on the table, but it's how do you take advantage of your opponent's mistakes? If he's going to overpeak, are you going to take advantage of that area? Are you going to pick up that frag? Is your team going to now take the space that the CTs are providing to you? Like we were talking about Legia in the big match on the B tunnels push that he had. I mean, he's going to take the space that you provide and take advantage of it. One
of the best things as well, obviously, it was the Windigo players there just having their little huddle, having their cheer. If you're wondering why there was a delay, that huddle took about 10 minutes, I feel.
Wait, they were huddling the whole time?
The whole time they were huddling. There was a lot of discussion. It was an intimate huddle. And the best thing, one of the players, as soon as they sat down after that enormous mammoth of a roar, he just sips a cup of tea as well. Very British of him. So I appreciate that as a man from England. But it looks like Windigo and AGO are almost ready to get into this one. I am going to ask you guys for your predictions. I know we've seen the Betway odds. I know we see who the favorite is, but who do you think is going to take Overpass?
Mark?
And why?
Oh, man. I think that Windigo is going to take this one. I think they have just so much hype coming into this in general. I think that they take the first map.
I'm gonna say Windigo will pick up a map, but I think AGO takes the series just because they are playing that higher competition. Windigo's on their climb, but I feel like AGO, even in the global challenge, they showed how good they were over the rest of the competition last season.
This is a chance to get yourself just a little bit closer to that Pro League. Everyone knows it's where you want to be if you are a Counter-Strike team. It's one of the best leagues, if not the best league in the world. And for a great Counter-Strike match, you need some great casters. So, Topical, Strong Legs, guys, take it away.
Thank you so much. Now, Topical, joined with me, Strong Legs. We've got ourselves a fantastic match. I'm actually on the other side of the fence.
Explain.
After we watched Windigo earlier today on Overpass, they were too passive in bathrooms. If they don't change that culture that they were set in, because they never changed that throughout that entire series on their CT side, hardly played it. I say AGO takes the first map.
Absolutely, yeah. I kind of agree with that, to be honest. Yeah, they were like very complacent and very passive towards the A site, even on eco rounds, just giving up so much map control for free and leaving them in the dark, and they weren't really adjusting too well on the B side to compensate for that loss on the A side. So unless they've learned their lesson, that is like the only exception, right?
All right. Well, let's see if they make those changes. Windigo to the T side, AGO CT side of Overpass. Map 1 in a best-of-3 series. And it looks like it's going to be a quick play to Monster side. Good flashbang. That'll push Grubby's grubby hands away from the Monster side of things. But it's a quick push, and they've at least knocked down 2, but it's for the price of 1. PHR's down. They're trying to make some space to be able to plant this bomb, but Toao is just being a thorn in their side. He's trying to rearm himself, and he turns. Somehow defends. His Bubbling can't quite get him, lock him down in the back of that pit. And AGO take round 1.
A little bit sloppy. They just weren't hitting the shots, and Tao starting us off really strong. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name right. I'm going to call him To.
So it was Toao. I'm stuck on Toao.
Okay, I'm cool with that.
All right.
Either way, AGO pick up the first round. Beautiful display. Pretty clean. Now we're on to the first round. SMGs in hand, 3 rifles up. Grubby, PHR, rocking the M4s. We're on to a slow round, just slow, methodical, not really giving away any much information early on, just trying to get control quietly of Connector. They don't want to give any audibles just yet.
Yeah, it looks like PHR is on the other side of the wall through here, and I believe he's even towards Graffiti, so there's really no presence here at all. Maybe PHR was able to hear that. He turned and looked that direction, so they were playing passive Connector anyway. Mark was saying earlier before the match started that you need to have some Connector control if you're the CT side. Looks like they're going to yield that for this round and just pick that audible information up and allow them to sit. Now they wrap their way towards Long A, where Snatchy is welcoming them with an MP9 to make some cash, but he's up against a lot of players with some armor. There's 2 players with head armor, but it's Ships and Victor here that have no head armor. Actually, Victor has head armor, so this is going to be a tough opponent for Snatchy to start off.
Victor picks up 1, Ferdinand with a nice trade, but he's being overrun from both sides, and Bubbles pushes onto the site, but Tao there for the trade. 3-on-3 now. Punisher takes a lot of damage from that grenade, though. But the bomb has not yet committed. The rotations from AGO are a little bit preemptive, to say the least. But Punisher still waiting on the right side, just hanging out, and he's about to get him in contact, and he taps away with a P250, and he finds that kill, and a man advantage early on for Windigo.
Yeah, Toa a little bit slow to be able to recover from that one. PHR is able to pick up the pieces. Sloppy, it's a 2-on-2. Rounds the corner, Victor catches PHR in transition. And now Gribby, 1 man standing against the 2. Victor just plants the bomb and his shoulder's been spotted. So Gribby knows where one of them is, and he likely suspects that the bomb being planted is where it was a second defender over towards the bathroom. So he takes the short side of that one rather than wrapping around the dice box. And he ends up losing the first battle anyway. 1-1, nice force buy from Windigo.
And a beautiful round from Victor, too, opening up the round for them and continuing it on all the way through until the end of that round. And beautiful round there from Windigo. But yeah, now AGO's money is suffering, unfortunately, back on the CZ's armor for them. They do have a kit, so retakes are possible. And they have the scout to contest early on, maybe get some free damage. Maybe get a pick, perhaps. But
yeah, I mean, what year is it? We got a 5-7 in play. Snatchy trusts it. Oh, double nade. Furlan stinging. But can he return fire? Actually stops and hesitates because they were trying to track his movements back towards the bathroom, so they overshoot him. And he stays alive for the time being. But what Furlan needs to do is if he's not hitting headshots, hit the chest shots and open things up for the opportunities for the CZs and the 5-7 to be able to make some magic happen.
Yeah, and right now AGO is pretty heavy towards the connector side. They've forfeited party, they've forfeited long A, and Snatchy's been spotted, and the Molly's going to push him forward out into the open, and the 5-7 just not able to connect any of the shots there. But Tao not making the same mistake. He has the CZ in hand. He's going to pick up Punisher, and it's going to be the advantage taken away. 4-on-4 now. Furlan's still pretty hurt. Solo man on the A side, and if he falls, that could be the defense crumbling here for them.
So you've got a kit in hand for AGO. That's in Toao's hands, but the usefulness of that right now with being only paired up with one flashbang to the entire team is really, it's going to come up to the frontline defense. And you got a chest shot right there with a scout, and that's what I was talking about, at least helping out for the CZs to be able to finish what the scout started. A 3-on-3 with a delayed bomb plant just now coming down, and they back off to the site. Default setup, and the CT's trying to catch them before they can dig their foxholes.
Did Spellin leave an M4 on the ground and kept it ump? Kind of a bit of a surprise from him, but either way, Toao's going to get taken down by ships, and he's going to pick up both of them, actually. And that will be the second round there, recovered and secured by Windigo. Beautiful turnaround, and now the money's not looking too hot for AGO, so they will be on the save. Not much to invest whatsoever. Maybe a flashbang at most. P250 in the hands of Snatchy. He's going to snatch one up for himself, but
yeah, flashbangs are so good when you can only invest so little into a round. Flashbang is just as valuable as like a P250. You know, it gets you the peak that you need to get the shots down range. It's a 2-tap with a USP if you can manage to get it done against the head armor. But we'll see if it's left to be seen. No grenades left for AGO right now, and they stack up towards the bathrooms for the most part. Only Toao over on long A. That leaves a wide open B site, and soon there will be explosive device ticking away.
Yeah, and right now Windigo's getting all of them. They're already on site. They know they're not here. It's just a matter of how is AGO going to recover from this round, and are they going to get any exit kills? Because, I mean, they've gambled wrong. Unfortunately, the coin flip didn't work out for them this time around. But, yeah, now they're on the rotate back towards spawn. Some few players coming down connector maybe, but no, they're just going to wait it out. They don't want to give any money to the SMG, so they're going to maintain their lives instead of chasing for money, waiting for them to hunt them and punish them for it. Ships, though, will take down Groovy, but he's been brought down with a little bit of a dink, and he's tapping away onto PHR. But he's not able to land the shots. He's going to fall off, though. Just hold on patiently, but he's about to get flanked from behind, and Furlan, nice kill. Some money in the pocket there.
Yeah, I mean, he was the sacrificial lamb. Just a MAC-10. Nothing of any value lost. A MAC-10 is nearly worthless against the head armor setup for the remaining Windigo players, and it's not going to have any value going into the next round anyways.
Absolutely.
So, opportunity to make cash. Well played. Windigo now collect their third round, and AGO go for the purchase of their M4s. And Furlan, you're getting rid of that thing, right? No? Still going to hold on to that MAC-10. We'll see if it makes any use here. Where do they stick him? Maybe the connector?
Yeah, I mean, they don't have an op quite yet, but neither does Windigo, to be fair. So let's see if they have an idea in mind. 3 players are going towards A side early, so I'm assuming it's probably going to be a connector stack, perhaps some water control, but Furlan leading the charge towards connector at the moment. Smoke off early is going to give away their presence towards connector. Maybe some of their intentions, but a boost is coming out to connector, and Toa will pick up the first kill on Spellin. That's a beautiful boost, but that nade, not so beautiful. But it's a man advantage early on in the round. They desperately need AGO.
Yeah, AGO pulled a cheeky play early. It's kind of rare to see cheeky plays like that so quickly, but maybe they felt like they needed to play catch up this early. And Bubble takes 2 straight in and straight out. Does Groovy and PHR go to the bench? They will be, and it looks like a lurk on the backside of this. Punisher's going to try and catch Snatchy, and will do so. So I'm leaving this in a 2v4 situation, and if Furlan can manage to find an M4, that'd be fantastic, but no bodies were dropped on this side of the world, so he's made his way into the site and ever so casually just walking up the ramp and soon to be to site. He's got an M4, and there's 2 players that are lit. And only one there, but Bubble is able to turn that and keep himself alive as well, but only at the price of ships.
Yeah, now Tao is so removed from this. He's just going to try to hold on to his M4. But yeah, bubbled with a double entry towards barrels. That's pretty huge considering AGO had the early advantage, but they just weren't able to hold on towards Monster. It's a little bit unfortunate. And it will be another gun round win for Windigo.
I mean, look at this. Windigo are getting into the sites, and at the expense of only a little bit of their utility. And at the end of that round, he should have had him dead. But he ducks behind that little trash bin. I think he got dinked once, but it's not enough with the M4. But Windigo are able to have, like we saw at the end of that round, there were 2 Molotovs still in play, a couple flashbangs as well. So they're getting in confidently, they're sticking around, and even looking for a hunt towards the end of that round as well. So if Windigo are able to continue this, where they're having utility available in the post plant, where AGO might have a look for a retake, then it's just going to have so much more value to them.
Absolutely, and I think Windigo, it seems like they've done their homework. Perhaps they have a reader, maybe they've seen it before, but if AGO is doing that boost, they're probably a little bit weak on the B defense. Just tunnel on in. No need for execs, no need to give away what you're doing, just coming through. You know they're probably going to be playing towards pillar or barrel, and Bubble was able to secure that, and a nice nade to bring Snatchy down to 61 HP. Beautiful toss.
Yeah.
You should consider baseball.
Just dialed it in. Snatchy, with no armor, takes the full brunt of it. Mollies go over towards the Toxic Barrels as well. PHR is going to have to abandon his effort here, but it is a stack towards the B site, but nobody from Windigo's side are making any indication that they want to go that way. They just leave Victor behind to try and catch a cheeky CT pushing ahead. It was just utility that was spent to commit those players on the B site, keep them there, and unsettle them, unsettle those nerves.
Yeah, and the flashbang lets them know there are at least a few players towards the B site, so they know that's not 100% an A stack just yet. Yep. So that's pretty smart from Windigo so far. High IQ for sure. Now they're just trying to find that pick. Ships will most likely be the first line of content unless Victor tries his luck through Monster, and it looks like he slowly wants to do that. He's creeping through. Victor.
Furlan hits the 1D over towards long aim, but Victor is a little early to the show to the B site. That's an AK that can be recovered, and likely will be. It'll be Snatchy that holds it, but he is wounded. And Windigo are coming in a little bit worse for wear. It's a 1v5. Spellin's able to get 2, but Toao is able to trade it right back out. A wildly successful round for AGO.
I mean, that looked a little bit awkward for Windigo. I mean, creeping in through Monster, I understand you want some information maybe, but giving away 1 weapon there, 1D towards A, leaving them with only 3 players, and then getting 1D also on A site, that's a little bit rough. Very well played by AGO, though. I mean, seizing the opportunities, finding those kills that they needed to win. Obviously, maybe a little bit more respect for the pistols.
I mean, that was, yeah, AGO have deagle capability, and Windigo just walked right into it. It is painful sometimes if you're up against the eco round. Well, there was 1 M4 being saved that round, but for the most part, it was pistols, and it's painful for Windigo to have to swallow that bitter pill. And they do, but they rebuy. AK's in, Snatchy hits the shot. Toao is going to take a page out of that one, try and open up that blue door, but he dies in the process of doing so. Victor traded out, and it is bloodbath over towards the short water side. Ships and Bubble are the last players left. They own the B site, it's their right, and they fall back out of this and into the site, out of short. So it will be a retake man advantage for AGO. Swapping the op to Furlan.
Yeah, and it's going to be at least 10 seconds before they're all ready to retake, so a little bit of time will be lost here. Luckily, they do have a kit on Furlan, but if it's dropped in the wrong spot and not recovered fast enough, that could be problematic. But look how far up Bubble is right now. He could easily catch them off guard here.
He could take 2. He's got 1 and the deuce. PHR gets the first one from above, and his grenade comes in. Plenty of health left for Bubble to be able to just tank that one. PHR walks into the site and gets absolutely clotheslined. Someone's got some lungs on him. That's a great whistle.
The Bulgarian whistle, man. It's a thing of beauty. But no, jokes aside, Bubble is here to play. He's already 8-4 going on the 8th round, so he's pretty much securing 1 kill a round average. But this is the 2nd round where he's had round-winning plays. A 3K to close out a post plant, a 3K on the entry last time. That's pretty huge for Bubble. But yeah, 5-2. Economy not looking so hot for AGO. Luckily for them, though, they do have an op up on Furlan. They have some M4, some utility.
Yeah, they dig deep. AGO go for a glass cannon op. Toao is the 2nd player with a kit as well, but their utility is down to 2 smokes, 1 molly. They're not going to be able to stop the push, whichever direction it may come for Windigo, but this is what Mark was talking about as well. Open skyboxes, you can throw some serious fakes. And whoever threw that smoke could throw a pigskin a quarter mile. That one went the distance up into the bathrooms.
Yeah, I think that's also another reason why a lot of teams like to default on this map, because it's so easy to fake the default from pretty much anywhere on the map, so it makes it that much more impactful.
Default can look like a whole bunch of different setups.
For sure.
Fantastic.
Yeah, Windigo right now, they really want control of the bathrooms. Push for that, and soon they're going to make the audibles, and Snatchy's starting to hear this, and he has the 5-7, but he could get killed by Bubble first, but he misses a shot, but Victor, he will not be missing. Flashbang comes in just a little bit too late, but that's a man down already for AGO. And again, they have no way to equalize this here. They're stuck on site. They have no information to work with.
I don't like this right now. They showed a 5-7. They showed a pistol in Snatchy's hand in bathrooms. They're going to be assuming other players have pistols, such as another player at this cubby position. He takes 2. He just instead takes the initiative. Spellin's able to turn and get 2 of his own, so it's a man advantage earned by Windigo now. Furlan and PHR maybe save the op and sacrifice the CZ. Furlan struggles with the steps. There's no OSHA guardrail there, so he falls off of that one, and PHR maybe was able to recover a weapon elsewhere on the map, but most of those are over towards the site.
Yeah, and like the lack of armor on Furlan is not making him very confident in the retake. 3 AK bullets to the chest is pretty much a death, so he's just going to take this op, bring it into the next round, and try again. Hopefully get something accomplished early on for his team, let him take contact, and Punisher really does not want to let him take this CZ. Thinks he probably has a weapon, hunting for it, trying to lower that economy.
Furlan holds the other angle in case the T's came out of that one and tried to intercept across short. But here's the blood draw. Punisher down, that'll be the end of that round. So their hunt spots that there's an op into the next round. What is remaining in the bank accounts for AGO? Do they try and put some mortar between the brick? Really, I mean, I say brick singular. It's just an op.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, let's see what Furlan can do. At least he can buy some armor this time around. He can be a little bit more confident, more aggressive early on without really risking his life too much. And if he can secure one early kill, and he's already going for it on party, as you can see, the flashbang comes out. That's going to deny him some vision. He's going to be forced to fall back. Nothing gained there for AGO.
Double pistol on the site, and they've lost one and a deuce. PHR is down towards the water side of this. It's going to be the last thing to check for Windigo, so there's a chance to pick up a frag or two. The bomb will be planted. Oh, he didn't see him. PHR looked. He was actually spotted, but he thought he was in the smoke on the plant. Instead, he walks himself out into the open and a very easy available kill. Another save.
Yeah, I really like the decision from Windigo to gonna go fast B there. Nice utility, get pop flashes to let them in immediately, and they know that the op is up on the hands of Furlan, so they don't want to take it slow, maybe lose some numbers early on. Let's just force the fight as quickly as possible. Use our AKs to brute force our way into the site, avoid the being pretty much watered down.
So there's not that much money on Windigo's bank accounts right now. The maximum they have before this round concludes is 4,350. And Furlan is able to help Snatchy live and then actually thrive. Produces an AK out of that one as Windigo narrow the territory they can be in, tries to pre-fire the angle towards the bank, survives, and that op is grandfathered into yet another round. But like I was saying, Windigo's money is not all that pretty. It's starting to grow now. They're up into the 7,800s. They'll have to rebuy a couple players, but it was still warranted to be able to hunt, to look for that op.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. Definitely a worth it risk. They just want to maintain the chokehold at this point. They have the control, they have the pressure. Just keep it up. Just tap it in. Just give it a
2-7. This is a great T-half. I'm trying to remember how it played out with Big. Big dominated their CT side on Overpass, like straight up. So Windigo were shut out in that respect. Windigo's first half, when Windigo was on CT side against Big, they did okay. They had a good comeback in towards the later bits of the first half. But this is already a start that Windigo had not had earlier today.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, this is a tactical timeout from AGO, so hopefully they've discussed a new plan of defense, because what they're doing at the moment is most definitely not working. But once again, we see them sending 3 players early on towards the A site. They want to go aggressive towards party, peek over the smoke, and they're going to get flashed off once again. But Furlan just walks through the smoke, and he has so much control here and presence. They may not expect this, but actually
Bubble's watching for it.
Yeah, he looks kind of ready.
I don't know what sniff that they recognized what could be happening there, but they read it right. They hold their angles. Snatchy ducks off to the right side, a 1-for-1 trade. Snatchy, though, wings ships and looks for more. Though misses his upward and right flick, and Bubble is able to take that frag. Even advantage now. 3-on-3.
Town Connector will regain the advantage for his team, and that's a lot of control gained there, but the bomb's still down and in control of Windigo. So they still have a little bit of time, so they can easily take their time here. They don't have to commit to anything fast just yet. I'm just going to group, stay shoulder to shoulder, and head over towards long A. Hopefully catch AGO off guard, but AGO has a pretty good read at the moment. This is most likely ending A, so they're sending 2 players on the defense there. This is exactly where Windigo is coming at the moment.
Yeah, you're going to have the bonus player on the defense. Spellen's going to lead the way right now while Bubble is trying to give him some cover fire at range. And now you're down to 1. 35 seconds, not a real great look at this. He's got a smoke, he's got a flashbang, and now picking up a molly off of his teammate's corpse. And he will soon be flanked to the rear side, so there's nowhere for him to go, and this is just a wise move. Get rid of anything that could be used against his team. Take that off, huck it overboard.
Yeah, I like the utility usage from Bubble there to push off the player off the truck, and that's beautiful. Block off his vision, molly him to push him off, and he has an idea that Groove is on the other side, and he's going to take him down, and he's turned it into a 1v1. Is Bubble going to go huge again here?
He's got the AK. It's a weapon you want for the 1vx clutch, and he hits a great shot. The HP is about even. 20 to 26. Doesn't matter when you got the rifles on board now, but Toao expects him to be already left of his position that where he's standing. Toao wins the fight. Will be able to defuse, and he's like, where was that op? He's doing a little bit of shopping right now.
Where? I don't see it, guys. Where is it?
Better defuse it. Got no kit.
Bubble with the 400,000 IQ.
It was great that he gets 2 kills. This actually puts AGO in a really awkward position, a really difficult way to win a round, only having 1 survivor. Luckily enough, he gets an AK. He's able to get full utility out of that round as well after scrambling over top of the bodies. But it's still a really rough spot for AGO. Possibility of an eco reset this late.
Yeah, this is like worst case win scenario for AGO. They really needed those 3 players alive to secure that, to kind of keep their economy rolling. They have an op at least, they have some kits, they have some utilities, but you can see Ruby, Furlan, both of them have nothing to use but rifles, so they're gun out for the rest of the round already. 4 players towards the B side this time. Let's see if they have a plan here. Just Snatchy by himself with the op towards the A site, trying to gain some information, trying to contest towards bracket and bathrooms.
It's really interesting to me that so far all we've seen today, a lot of teams have not gone for SMG utility. A lot of teams just go straight rifles, get whatever minimal utility you can get. That's a shift in meta, I would say. I mean, especially with the nerf to the UMP, it used very obvious, easy decision to get UMP utility. Now they prefer rifles.
Yeah, I agree with that. They're just going to leave the op by himself towards the A site, which, again, the only issue with that is you have pretty much no information at any point in time. You're just stuck on site. You can maybe jump spot long, check it here and there, check sand once in a while, maybe up close bathrooms, but you've forfeited all of bathrooms, all of long A, and you don't have connector control. So you literally have, and they're not compensating towards B, so they literally have, they're completely blind at the moment. 50 seconds left on the clock. Smoke's going to block off the vision. The flashbang's going to deny Snatchy the ability to peek, and they've crossed over now.
He re-peeks it. Dry, too. No utility in response. You see how empty it is. They can only do that so many times. Snatchy hits the shot, and just on the other side of Dice Box, he's got some trouble, but he defends long A, takes all 3 of them, turns it into a single directional attack from Windigo, and a man advantage earned for AGO on their retake. They've got 2 kits in play as well, but again, no utility. They come in with those hard-earned rifles, and Spellin needs a 1v3. He takes 1. He's unable to surmount PHR.
Yeah, that was Snatchy. I can see why he was by himself on the A site.
I think he had direct support. I think it was just they were overwhelmed very quickly. Of course, AGO didn't have utility. They couldn't Molotov long. In all honesty, hindsight's 2020. Snatchy's more than welcome to be able to take those 3 guys on long. He had a player that already came up to the default position on the dice box, and he could obviously hear him, and he was just trying to stay tight on the boxes. Ends up getting overwhelmed.
Yeah, no, beautiful movement there in op mechanics from Snatchy for sure. But now, I think this may be the first time too, but AGO have a double op setup. And that's going to allow them to contest just a little bit more. Maybe get those early picks, but this is a tactical timeout from Windigo. They're feeling the loss of momentum, perhaps.
So we saw this earlier tonight. It was Windigo were in AGO's position, where they had purchased a double op. They had a single op, and they said, oh, let's buy 1 more. They bought 1 more, and they got ecoed, and their economy never recovered. So we'll see what ends up happening if they're able to put the shoe on the other foot. But they have rifles this time. For the most part, they've got AKs and a single Galil.
I don't know if I'm reading this right, but Victor has $2,000, but he didn't buy utility, so I wonder if they're on a fast play and he thinks he's going to die early on. He's just trying to save his money. But yeah, he didn't buy any utility, even though he has the cash for it.
Huh. Maybe it's for future rounds.
Maybe.
Save the cash, get an op. It's quicker, a little bit quicker. Back on board. But they own short. No connector play from AGO at all. But they are starting to lean towards that B site. Furlan's got that first one and still posts up on short here. Backs off of the sandbags. Toao hits that shot as well, so the monster side is plugged up. And nice, great shooting from PHR. Actually, Toao hits the shot as well. Looks like PHR was able to do the grunt work on the front lines. And only Punisher left to try and recuperate out of this round. But other than that, the money's not looking too pretty for Windigo going into the soon-to-be 13th round.
Yeah, and Toao is not giving him any room to breathe. He just posted up, having him pinned towards water. No escape for him. And AGO, 5-7. Not bad. Pretty good turnaround. It's looking a little bit scary for a second, but starting to gain the momentum and re-stabilize their economy on the defense, which is exactly what they need. A pretty convincing round win there, too. Still, though, this round and 2 more remaining. They're going to need every one of them if they want to make the T-side a little bit easier for themselves.
Yeah, this is it's a good pace, Windigo already. The fact that they have 7 right now, anything beyond this is bonus. But it does, any round they get now is also applying pressure to AGO's pistol round, which is just doubly effective as well. So now we've got Windigo, who have been abusing that B site rather effectively. Really, they've had good success A and B, but in the latest series of rounds, AGO have gambled a little bit of the rotate, been able to receive Windigo and stop them, and if at worst, just get a retake solid.
And Furlan out in the open. He finds one somehow, but Punisher trades him out with the CZ. A rifle for a CZ trade. I do have to question that, but caught in transition, and we've talked about this before, but yeah, this is the hit towards the B site now unfolding. Only one player here on the defense, maybe one more in heaven, but that's about it. They have the site to work with. They can get the bomb down easily. Utility being used, counter utility, but they've gained so much ground, and Spellin's out in the open, and Tao's, he sees him.
Stops him on the edge of that smoke. Toao hits a next shot, and it's just Punisher with a CZ. He's got 2, and he's got time. Can he find himself a more suitable weapon, or maybe just keep the CZ? Snatchy dropping now into the water side, coming up the ramp. Punisher still at a disadvantage at this range, and there had to been a call that he's lit. Goes to his sidearm and saves the round. AGO keeping ahead of the curve on their momentum, but I mean, look at Toao right now, 16-6.
Yeah, absolute beast so far in this game.
Yeah.
A bit of a mistake there from Windigo, though, to plan in that spot, considering...
It's just peculiar. The smoke was there. He just got into one of those awkward situations where he runs through the smoke, he can't see anything, and he ends up in a spot that's exposed.
For sure, yeah, that makes complete sense, but I mean, yeah, a little bit of loss of players. If AGO drop this round, money's not going to be looking too hot for the next round, so this is going to put even more emphasis on this round for Windigo to claim. And early on, Groovy finds himself a pick, and the nade brings Victor down so low.
40 damage nade. The molly will keep him at bay as well. So they have 2 over towards the B side. Actually, looks like a 3rd out there as well with Toao near Graffiti. So Victor is able to draw first blood over towards the A side. Does that warrant a rotation? So far, no. They stay stationary over towards the B site. Nobody's spotted a bomb. There's no reason to move off your default position. Snatch even picks up a return kill there. And finally, someone does start to shift. That's Toao coming up the stairs now. But we've seen what Snatchy can do alone here. He's more than capable. He hits another shot. The Molotov pushing him out to the side. And he'll hit the final. Snatchy and Grubby actually pairing up, picking up a couple frags. It's 7-7.
I mean, Snatchy's looking very confident and consistent on the A defense by himself. And he's allowing his team to be pretty B-heavy. And if they come A, hey, I'm getting at least 2 kills. I'm pretty confident. I've done it multiple times now. This is the final round. It's going to be a broken purchase here for Windigo. They have some AKs. They have a Galil, but very limited on the utility.
That's not an easy task. Solo A with an AWP. If they're able to push up close long or close bathrooms at the same time, which is what you would expect for some kind of pincer attack, you lose.
Yeah,
10
even
times out of 10.
One good flashbang from Windigo, and that's GG there.
He's able to stop him every time. Molly comes in, that's going to slow down the push, or does it? Victor catches PHR, who's thinking the same as I was. No way they run through that Molotov. Instead, he gets caught with a grenade in his hand. 4 on 4, bomb planted to the B site. Grubby throws a Molotov in, but looks like Spellin takes a jump overboard into the toxic waters down there.
And he's forced forward by the Molly, and Victor will take him down with a nice shot to the head, but Spellin in pit with the help of his teammate Victor. They're just holding it down, and Spellin is burning too. Everyone's burning. It's a 3v3 now. Snatchy's looking for anything he can get, but he will not be snatching anything this time around. It's a 2v2. Victor takes down one more. That's Furlan gone down. Toa looking for those kills, but Victor with an ace to close out the last round of the half. 8-7.
When Victor's fragged, like there were rounds where he died early, but when he fragged hard, just like that last round. Almost destined to get the ace at that point. Toa, the last player to come across through short, and not much for him to be able to do. He didn't need to push immediately. The bomb was still pretty early on in its cycle. But an 8-7. It's a great turnaround from AGO. That was like 7-2, something similar to that. And it ends up being 7-7, and then Windigo cap off and they bookend that half.
Yeah, it's one of those cases where like the way it unfolded, if you're Windigo, you're thinking, yeah, maybe we could have got more, but then you think back objectively and you're like, we just got 8 rounds on T-side overpass, and now we're coming on our strong side. This is where we gain control of the game. It's obviously going to a lot of importance here on the pistol round. They're going to need that to regain the advantage, regain that economy as early as possible. If they lose that pistol and they lose the first gun round, then things are looking very, very shaky for them. But let's see if they've adapted, because we've criticized their A defense. We've criticized their approach to this map before. Let's see if they've changed it up a little bit, considering they were on the big screen earlier. Yeah,
we won't see that until the rifles start to come into play. Spellin even backs off of the bathrooms after sending 2 shots down range, not to connect, however. And AGO go over towards long A. It's a pretty bold move. You got to be able to close that distance, because the USP is superior at this range. And Spellin jumps over the APC and spots 1 or 2. So he's ready for this. He blocks that first smoke. I don't think it makes it all the way to the bank. So he's got a little bit of a window.
Yeah, and Furlan's picked up 1. Spellin's found 1 of his own, but there's smoke denying him vision, so the bomb will be going down safely. And Toao and his teammate Gruby are gaining so much ground, so they have a crossfire set up already, but Victor's tapping away. He has the information. Gruby peeks off the flashbang. He's going to pick up 1, but gets immediately traded out by Bubble. Furlan finds 1 in between somewhere.
They pick up the kid as well. Bubblin's got that one, and they're going to make their way into the site, but the further they make their way in, the bigger this flank is. Snatchy on the front lines of this one, while Furlan comes out of the bank. 1 and looking for the second one. It turns into a 1v1. The kid's still there. Bublin has to touch the bomb and respect this one. Snatchy sees that he came off of this one and immediately executes him. Didn't even get to look like he was going to fake it.
Yeah, I mean, he recognized that there's a little bit of time. Just peek out, even if I die now. Pretty much have secured the round for my team. So that's a nice round from AGO, gaining so much ground there. Furlan doing a pretty good job too. But yeah, 8 an important pistol round secured for AGO.
Even Stevens. And AGO go for their buy-up of rifles. And Windigo doing just as they had done prior times when they lose a pistol. They go for that single scout, backed up with some CZs and a single deagle as well. They can do damage at range.
And they have a bit of a different approach this time around. They want to go pretty heavy towards long A. Let's stack here. And if AGO want to come, they might pay the price for it. Victor will be the first contact. Spellin playing behind the bicycle, which, if you don't know, is actually indestructible.
You mean there's no bullet pen?
Yeah, you can't shoot through it.
Really? Not even an op?
Maybe with an op,
but it just tickles you. But nothing serious.
Yeah, it's a
what
really
about
strong
What
angle.
about the baguette that's sitting there?
Which one?
There's a baguette sitting here at the
Maybe that's why.
That's probably it. Indestructible. So it is. Oh, never mind. That was a CT. Spellins pushed all the way up to the rock now, abandoning that bicycle. But Gruby is in behind. That will be able to usurp the scout, and a nice turnaround from Victor to be able to at least recuperate a frag there.
Yeah, and AGO recognized that this is a long A setup, but they hesitated to push through bathrooms. Just now going to leave them a little bit confused and kind of split up here. They want to gain water control, at least apply some pressure towards the B site. And the rotations are coming in towards the B site, and the time is ticking, so this might end up being a peek him? No, it's not. They're headed all the way back up. They're going to lose so much time for this. And Spellin is so far up, and he has the information. And now they're starting to run out of time. 30 seconds left on the clock. 25 now. Victor spots them out. He's going to call for the rotation. Now needs to hold on.
He's got that first shot, and he just needs to slow him down. But he had a present ready for him with the MAC-10 for close-range combat. Only Punisher left. Following suit with ships up the stairs through that smoke and to an early grave. And AGO stopped that one. And it was, again, the lack of mid control and lack of bathrooms and everything of the sort for Windigo. It allows a player to come up into the bathrooms, give a little bit of an uppercut, sweet chin music to the scout player that's boosted up on top. And that is basically the end of your biggest piece of firepower.
Yeah, it's definitely like high IQ from both these teams. They have a pretty good intuitive understanding of these setups and these angles, and just the fact that he went into that corner specifically to look for that boost shows that they understand it. But yeah, it's going to be an A stack for Windigo. Let's see if it works out in their favor this time around. When AGO ran this, they weren't so fortunate. And Snatchy once again getting that information towards the B site, and soon it will unfold. And if Groovy falls, that might be an AK. But Groovy will not be letting go of that AK, and PHR there to support him, and he's just tapping away now. And that will be the 4K, but an eco round. So as expected, a round win for AGO.
I like that from Groovy. He understood what was happening. One player got by his crosshair, his first angle. And rather than him swinging wide to try and chase that player further down long, he ends up resets himself and stares towards the corner again, knowing that he's got a teammate also over towards the fountain to hold that angle for the player that was long rather than exposing himself. He ends up picking a 4K and being the main brunt of the force to hold that push.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's confident. He has an AK in his hand. He knows they're on USB, no armor. Why not? Let's take this duels. Bring it on, boys. But yeah, now AGO slowing down just a bit of a different pace from them, defaulting it up. Pretty standard spread. 2 players towards the ace, or towards the B side, excuse me. 2 players holding down connector, and not much presence towards the A side at the moment. Taking their time, maintaining parts of the map. They understand that the economy for Windigo is pretty limited, so they're maybe expecting some aggression from them to compensate for the fact that 1, they don't really have any kits, and 2, they don't have much utility to work with. So soon they're going to be out of utility, and the game's in our hands pretty much.
Yeah. Smoke's trickling into the site. That one lands in default as Furlan starts to poke and prod. It's a pretty dangerous proposition for him to be able to do that. No opportunity for a trade. Everybody else was starting to make their way up through the connector. So they may leave Furlan behind to lurk and keep these guys stuck onto the B site, which is a 3-man defense down here.
And Furlan's going to continue applying pressure with the utility, but he's actually making his way back to his team. Then maybe headed towards the A site, but Spellin's holding it down. He spots Snatchy, but he's not able to quite land the shot. Furlan goes wide, pushing him off the angle. Now it's a little bit too dangerous for Spellin to peek. That flashbang will apply a bit more pressure, and he peeks out, and Snatchy takes him down. Only 1 player left on the defense now. It's Bubble.
I mean, if Bubble gets a kill there, sure, but right now I'm thinking it's a quick save call. Yeah, exactly that. Even with Bubble on the site, I was actually thinking get off site and run, because they are coming with unknown numbers through the bathrooms right now, and it is now, I would consider this a chronic problem for Windigo without having bathroom control.
Yeah, definitely. Again, we've talked about this. They give up a little bit too much control too early, which leaves them in the dark, and it, again, they have no way to compensate for it. They have no way to trade out map control. They're just stuck on B, they're stuck on A, they have no opportunities to find early picks, and if you're just sitting down with just weapons, how are you going to hold back and execute?
Yeah. So the bomb detonates, and AGO still searching. The fact that they have all 5 alive right now means somebody could very well be sacrificed to search, and they will not find it. Those 3 just set up in short, and everybody watches each other's backs. So an 11-8 scoreboard, as we had 3 weapons saved. Those 3 can help out the purchase for the next 2, that being Bubble and Spellin. But you're starting to see the same problems that Windigo had on their CT side against Big.
I agree. Yeah, and you and I both had a pretty spot-on analysis for that too. This is something that they really needed to fix, and hopefully they're talking about it now. Like, guys, we're going down to 50 seconds, 45 seconds, and we have absolutely no idea what they are up to.
I'm hoping that Windigo recognize what their problem is right now. I mean, it's almost insanity that nobody's been playing mid. Somebody has to take that responsibility and at least put themselves there. Whether if they get an op, we've seen Windigo when they were against Big to try and band-aid that problem, they'll push the op up in towards Party and take that first peak. But that's only a temporary fix.
Right, and as soon as the flashbang comes out, they fall all the way back. Not just to bracket to the next step of the fallback. They go all the way back to site, which is, again, problematic. But a fast play from AGO this time around. They don't want to go slow. Grubby's found one, PHR's found one, and PHR now found two. And that's the B site opened up. Spellin gets one back, but he's taken so much damage. And this is going to be a save, once again, for Windigo. Spellin's already fallen back, but Bubble, he wants perhaps a weapon upgrade. Only has a CZ and armor to lose.
He's searching the water. Got to be an AK around here somewhere. Where did Grubby drop it? Snatchy heard it and is holding the angle while Furlan wraps around the corner and maybe catch. Oh, no. Looks the wrong direction. Thinks the angle's clear. Looks like Bubble catches a kill as well. So it's a 2-on-2. There's no chance to win this round. There's no kit unless one of their teammates' corpses were there, but they would still have to fight over the site where PHR still stands. And looks like Toao is as well over towards Graffiti. So they'll evacuate this. And another round for AGO. So far today, Windigo have yet to win a single round on their CT side Overpass.
Yeah, I mean, the silver lining to this, though, is, yeah, this was a round loss. It was a 2v4 turned into a 2v2, but at least we've got an op out of it. So now we don't have to buy that, at least. Now they can maybe stabilize and get full utility. And there it is, a double op.
Double.
Now maybe we can start contesting different parts of the map. Hopefully they're not too passive on site. But yeah, it's becoming a problem.
Yeah.
We're in the meta for Overpass now. It's more like when we're CT and when we're defense, you kind of have to play offense to be a good defense on this map.
Best defense, good offense. That's what they always say.
Or so the saying is. But Spellin now contesting early on, but
we'll see where they go. Do they fall all the way back? He's over towards the top side of the bathrooms. Jumps to planters now and holds the angle. Misses again and falls way back. No, he hits a leg shot against Groovy, and that's going to be frustrating. Spellin probably wanting to be able to take one kill for the 3 or 4 shots that he's taken so far.
I like shot better than nothing, I suppose. They have the utility at least, so now they can hold back bathrooms, they can hold back sand and contest that for as long as they need. And the support is there from Punisher, which I believe he's playing towards Truck right now, holding their long gate. Spellin's re-aggressing, finally some mid-round adjustments happening and being glad Spellin's taking it into initiative, but he's gonna spot PHR, but he's at an off angle. He's not quite getting there. He's slowly inching away, and the flick comes out finally, and Spellin establishes that early advantage for his team.
All right. And that's what we were talking about earlier against Big. Windigo needed those first kills, and those first kills were always developed by Spellin with his op. Smokes come in towards the bathroom, but towards the bank, but it's a fake. You've already got players that are starting to stack up towards the monster side and short. But you've got your 6 and your 9 player. That's Ships on the first shot. He'll crack off, looking for the next as well. Misses it, takes one to the face, but through the wood is able to dissipate a lot of the damage. Misses the next one. Can he find cover? He's got cover fire from Victor instead. There, we've got Windigo winning a CT round. It was a little bit sloppy initially, and Windigo just don't like it. Maybe it's sunlight. To them, it's just like it burns them if they walk out towards mid.
Yeah, but finally some change though, and Windigo pick up the first round finally. Double op maintained, utility still in hand, kits all around. Spellin not even buying any utility, just wants to hold back. He's probably going for something aggressive early on. Yeah, he is towards water. He wants to take that duel. Furlan falls back. He senses the danger. Now we're starting to see a huge culture change here for Windigo.
They're very active. They're still not staying and holding an angle for very long, especially what we've seen Spellin doing. It's shoot and scoot. Just pop off a shot and run, reposition yourself, similar to how you would do it on Inferno, watching mid from arch side. Fire, fall back to the next defensive position, fire, and keep going backwards. But that backpedaling is still very early. It's going to give AGO a lot of map control as they make their way on top of the balloons.
A nice little cheeky boost, hopefully to find an equalizer or an advantage, excuse me. But Ruby not find anything this time around, but a nice bait setup towards long gate. Bubble with the support of Spellin towards the A site, and they have Punisher playing towards bathrooms this time around, top of the garbage can. So this is a nice little triangle setup. They have both long gate and bathrooms held down, or sand, not quite bathroom. And Bubble will peek out at the perfect time and take down Furlan. That's a little bit upsetting if you're Furlan.
Furlan's like, oh, Penny, dead. So early advantage again. Looks like some flashbangs coming. You got a player that's up on top of the trash bin. It's going to be a 2-for-1 trade from there. Make it 3-for-1. PHR now last man standing. And is going to have to try and recuperate this in a mere 20 seconds.
And I think he got up through the wall, so he's down to 2 HP now. So and this is virtually impossible for him now. Not enough time, not enough HP, no hope whatsoever here. And finally, some life on the CT side for Windigo. And again, they've rewarded for doing exactly what we were criticizing them for. Contesting bathrooms, contesting towards sand, having some dynamic setups towards A, not just playing passive on site. They're not... That's working out very well for them,
so far, yeah. And as soon as they made that change, they were able to right the ship so far. But soon enough, AGO is going to start to change their battle plans as well to try and contest that. And how can they do that? Molotovs into the bathrooms. You can get some smokes out there as well. And just plug off the main entrance to the bathrooms in mid and start to just piecemeal mid and force Windigo back. Because Windigo is still, even though they're playing mid, they're still very timid in doing so.
Absolutely. And again, Windigo adjusting towards the A site. Once again, Bubble up close and personal here, and he's about to get a hello with a flashbang, and he's blind, he's holding down. He only finds one, though, but Punisher there to pick up that second kill, and a third for the team, but a second for him. The Molly's going to push back Snatchy, but the bomb is not quite snatched.
But he's shot in the back. PHR takes the cowardly way out of that fight and allows Snatchy to recover that explosive device. Man advantage still for Windigo, but plenty of time on the board. But Victor's still picking up information galore. All the way through Monster, now making his way towards the disco ball, but looks like he'll just park himself here next to that rooster painting. Is that a call out? The rooster on the wall?
Sure. But no, I think the bigger problem for AGO right now is they've forfeited so much of the map, so now they have to take their time clearing out all the angles. They don't quite know if anyone's in water, so they're going to have to check that first, and they're having an idea now that nobody's in water, but we don't really have monster control either, so hopefully they're aware of that. Or they might get flanked here by Victor, but smokes are out. They're about to cross over to site. PHR seems to be pretty aware, but Victor's still not giving away his position. Ships is in heaven, so they know at least one player is there, but still 2 players are unknown to them at the moment.
Victor's going to be a nightmare, because he's still early enough through Monster that they wouldn't anticipate that his rotation would be this quick. They would expect it to come through short, which is actually where Snatchy's at, so PHR is going to be caught completely unbeknownst that Victor was behind him. And Victor just frags hard like he usually does. And that will be a defuse. A good streak right now for Windigo.
Yeah, 3 players alive too. Look how much money they have in the bank. It's about to be added on top of that. And that's 12-11 now. Gap is closing once again, and AGO not in a good position. They can maybe force buy if they really want to, but they can't even break the Windigo economy, so it might be better served if they just buy pistols and light armor. And there it is, the pistols, light armor, force buy. A few bit of utility on the hands of Groovy and Tao. Actually, a lot of the players following suit. A lot of smokes. I expect a set piece out of this because they bought 5 smokes.
Flood the B site maybe and just plant, or flood any site. You can flood A with all those and just turn it into a thick soup.
Yeah,
Make
nice
Ships is off and Spellin's off kind of useless if they can't quite see anything. Look at the damage being dealt. All 5 players, it's just starting to evaporate. Grenade damage, I think there was a player that was legged in there as well. Though the first casualty of war is actually Bubbling. He'll be on the bench for the remainder of the round, and an AK is into the capable hands of Ruby.
Yeah, so this round's a bit awkward now because AGO is pretty hurt from the early round, but fortunately for them, they're against 2 ops, so it doesn't really matter how low their HP is, and Spellin's about to get overwhelmed, but he falls into the smoke, and their Punisher there to support his teammate. Punisher will pick up a second one. Ships comes through the smoke. PHR finds one. No scope missed by Ships, and he gets taken down by Groovy. It's a 3v2 now in favor of AGO.
It's possible for Windigo to be able to right this one. They pop out, and PHR is able to catch Spellin before his boots can really touch the ground, and he gets a rifle to his shoulder cleanly. Victor 1v3. First shot right on the money. PHR's down. Bomb planted on Optimus, and he touches the bomb on his way over the boards. And now he'll have to touch it again to force these guys to peek. He's got that now 1v1 situation, but he loses it against Groovy. And Windigo finally drop a round after the little bit of a streak. They went from, it was 13-8 and then now 13-11. But AGO still maintaining a lead. It's just been, it's been chipped away a shade.
Yeah, you always hate to see it when you lose, when a team loses their win streak to an eco round. It's never something you wanted to do. This could have been easily a 12-12 for Windigo. But again, punished for playing pretty passive on site.
Yeah, but Windigo were double op. And if you're able to get pistols in close to ops, how are you going to do that?
Yeah.
Smokes. Lots of smokes. They had 5 of them. They choked everything off. They actually got that first kill virtually for free and got an extra grenade out of that one as well. So they then came into the site, flooded it, and made those ops kind of worthless. So it was basically a free bomb plan on that early frag. And
retaking with a double op is never an easy task for sure. 13-11. Full investment here from AGO, although that was a force buy win for them. Half buy win, I should call it. But yeah, Windigo still has a bit of cash to work with, so they can maybe justify a force buy depending on how this round unfolds. But heavy player spread towards the B side at the moment. Spellin trying to get some peeks, trying to get that information. Ship's now holding it down so he can peek into Connector with his op. Nothing to be seen in Connector, nothing to be seen outside of Monster, but little do they know, they're actually all there.
Yeah.
Minus, of course, PHR, who's lurking, maintaining some control towards the A site.
On Windigo, I'm glad they've changed their setups. It's now just that early peak, be aggressive, like guerrilla warfare, if you will. Furlan in through Monster, already head to the Molotov as well. Toao picks up 2 of them. Furlan actually not credited with those kills, even though it looked like it was right on the money. 2 standing. Bublin and Punisher right now, they're able to pick up a kill and a lot of damage as well against Furlan. It's more than possible to be able to still win this round, but they need these smokes to start to dissipate, and you still have an additional smoke in Furlan's hands. And now only Bublin remaining, 1v3. Now it's looking like it's an insurmountable task. He's rocking a hard place. Even saving this weapon would be quite beneficial.
Yeah, I agree. Had he saved this M4, they could have had 4 weapons up in this round right here, but now it's kind of problematic for them. I think on 1v3, running out of time, you don't really have much info. Maybe just fall back, save that weapon. So a bit of maybe overconfidence there from Bubble, but his team should be paying the price for it here. But so they're going to be force buying. So that's the decision, I suppose. Ships M4 already. Players haven't followed suit just yet. There it is. Now the force buy is coming in from everyone. So hopefully they have a plan, because at the moment their weapons are definitely not in their favor whatsoever.
Now let's see what they can do. It's UMP coming in. So put ships in Connector, but like what we were talking about, Windigo was getting success by playing aggressive, but can they still maintain that aggressive edge with such little firepower and utility? The utility is not all that important for them playing aggressive. You just need a flashbang for themselves. They don't want to smoke anything off, really. And really, their previous tactics have just been hit and run. Early peek from Spellin, he misses it just a shade left and resetting himself in the bathroom, which is atypical from what we've seen so far.
Absolutely, but this time around they have someone in Connector. It's Punisher holding it down with I believe a CZ. Yeah, it's a CZ in his hands. Bubble towards long bathroom this time. We haven't really seen them play this angle before. They haven't really lingered around long bathrooms too long. Ruby once again, top of the balloon, looking for that information. Nothing to be found, but he takes down Punisher though. It's actually a nice angle to clear down the stairs.
Yeah, you got really deep down there, looks like.
Yeah.
A Molotov to follow as well, so you had that additional player in there. PHF falls to Bubble. But good information from Ships here. Ships has not been really fragging too hard, but he's been able to, when he does frag, they're pretty important kills, and that information is still very valuable to the team in a 4-on-4 with just under a minute.
Yeah, nice equalizer by him, some information gained, but looks like Spellin wants to contest bathrooms this time around. Nice decision from him, but actually, as I say that, he falls back to site. 40 seconds left on the clock. The mollies are going to signal that this is probably a B hit. Rotations are coming in. Victor needs to hold on tight. He's found himself one, but he gets immediately taken down, and his teammate Ships falls also.
Furlan really wants to dump this Molotov up here. The smoke is going to be even more valuable to them now. So they've got another smoke to be able to choke this one off. Toao is going to break his stride to try and work this flank. All these two guys need to do on the front line is slow them down. Allow Toao to just come in from behind, and the round is theirs. They really don't even have to play directly on the site. They lose Furlan in the process of that, and you've got Snatchy behind the pillar. He doesn't have to be so close, but wins the first, loses the second, and there comes the flank to secure the 15th round for AGO. I would have expected those guys to be playing at least down the ramp, maybe over towards the Greats. More likely than that, over towards Monster side, and just slow them down. Force them to burn time to allow Toao to get real in close.
Absolutely, and I feel like after he lingered, it kind of became awkward for him because now he's stuck because he has no more free passage to the pillar or to go down monster. So he's kind of just like stuck in an awkward position, but it didn't really matter because they had Tao, the trap hole, and it's going to unfold, and it's going to be in the round win, securing the map point for his team, AGO. And Spellin now trying to get some information, but a nice shot from Groovy takes him down across of monster, or excuse me, across of...
Put him in the cooler.
Fountain, yeah. Mixing my words now, but either way, it's a man advantage for AGO on map point. An important one at that.
Yeah, Windigo were, they got 3 in a row on their CT side. They would have to be able to usurp that one and get 4 in a row now. And to start off with a man disadvantage and a weapons disadvantage, AGO just need to play cleanly. Maybe just get one more frag, even if it's traded out. Just then group up. Right now they're spread, scattered to the wind, not really backing one another up quite yet. Making sure that Windigo, in the position that they're in right now, aren't going to be gifted any kind of long flank.
Yeah, again, this is what we've been talking about, is Windigo has no way to adjust, and they aren't. It's not that they don't have a way to adjust, it's that they aren't adjusting. They're just losing the middle round. They're losing the map control. They're man down right now. They're just holding tight on B, hoping that AGO walks into them.
I'm a little scared for Snatchy right now, because if you're going to lose a round, it's handing a big piece of firepower over with no chance for a trade or no chance to guard that weapon in the future. He ends up getting that 1 kill, and maybe Toao is on his way to help Snatchy out, but he still stands up front. The op drops. It will help in the retake, but it has to be a retake.
And they have a kit at the very least. That's the silver lining of the situation, but they're a man down, and Groovy has so much control and brings ships down so low. Punisher finds a nice shot, and that's going to bring things back into their favor, or an equalizer at the very least, but now they're on the march out towards Chuck.
And he secured some territory, so as the T side, they're starting to lose some realm. But nice shooting from PHR. 1, 2, 3. And he takes the last remaining guys, and AGO secure map 1. And it played out like we predicted it.
I was about to say.
Weak bathroom play, but I'm glad that Windigo started to correct their errant ways. It was an interesting way, an interesting take on how they approached that fix. In and out. Just strike and remove yourself from the equation as quickly as you can. Even if you miss the shot, just don't reset. Don't even think about a repeat.
Yeah, it's... Again, I'm actually impressed with the fact that we called this out exactly how it was going to unfold, and it went just like that. And the rounds that Windigo did win on the CT side were the ones where they had the fix that we suggested, is contest bathrooms, contest long A, have some fluid dynamic setups towards A, don't give up the map control. And as soon as they were doing that, things were going more so in their favor, but yeah, it was a little bit too late. Right.
Well, to expand more on how that first map played out and how the future maps are going to play out, we're going to send it right back to the analysis desk. Dan, what do you got for us?
Thank you very much, Topical. Well, Windigo, maybe there is a little bit of fatigue setting in now after an early start today. They didn't quite carry through from some momentum of having that LAN experience earlier on, but they gave it a good go. It was certainly a relatively close game, but in the end, the experience maybe of AGO was too much for them to overturn.
Yeah, they couldn't figure out when to go and when to stay.
Can I go?
Yeah, let's just...
Can we just...
I'm sorry. I'm done.
Yeah, thanks.
I'm out of here.
Can you give me something like actually analytical?
I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, like you were saying when we came into it, right, it's that exhaustion factor. It's the level that they need to play at, the level they need to maintain against a team like AGO. Yeah, they can have rounds, they can have life, but is it enough for the whole match, right? When you're playing against competition like AGO, you need to be on the ball 24/7. There's no laziness, and yeah, stress. The mental endurance does play a factor in it, as we saw.
And then the other side of it is too, like we watched Windigo play S already. It was not an impressive map. It really did confuse us to see them pick it. Because if anything, like we said, we would have loved to see them play Train.
This is great by
we would have
that was
loved to
Bubbles 1v3 that they just had up.
But yeah, it did feel like Windigo kind of had the game early and then started letting it slip away. I mean, they were up by such a massive margin, and then they let AGO. This was a big round. Snatchy back behind the dice box. I think he 4Ks off this. But it was a pivotal round. That's what really started the surge of rounds back for AGO, and ever since then, it kind of felt like Windigo kind of lost contact with the game. There were still spurts where they would find a round or two here or there, but for the most part, you know, AGO kind of controlled it from that point on.
Yeah, and honestly, with, like I said, the EU style of Overpass, with it being more of a CT-sided thing, I think that AGO just got off to a little bit of a slower start. But even in general, it felt like both these teams were favoring their T side as their stronger side. I mean, Ships, once again, his op on B was doing work, but unfortunately, at the end of the day, I mean, AGO they're going to pick it up fairly easily, I'd say, once that second half started going.
And of course, we don't have as much information on the banning process. Obviously, we already know Windigo have performed well on a particular map today, so it wouldn't surprise me if AGO were like, yeah, let's get rid of that. Let's not let them get any momentum from anything that they have performed well on, especially today, let alone other days. But it was a good first game. It was a nice way to kick it off. Whether Windigo can now bring this back to maybe 1-1, that remains to be seen. Map number 2 is going to be Cash. That was picked by AGO, and we will discuss that a little bit more. But first, we are going to go for a quick break. But when we are back, we are going to get right back into this series back-to-back. There's a lot of backs that are going on. But you guys don't go anywhere. Or if you do go, make sure you come back. There we go. That's 5 backs just for you. We will see you very shortly after these messages.
ESL Pro League is brought